Hello, good evening. Good evening and welcome to this week's edition, or episode I should say, of Visibility Made Easy. So I'm looking at you there, you're looking at me. I'm Jenny Kovacs, affectionately known as the Queen of Being Seen, because it's all about you standing out. In fact, I should say that slower, the Queen of Being Seen, not beans or anything else like that. So tonight's episode is all about planning spontaneous visibility. Now, just in case I can't see your comments, I've actually got my computer here, Mrs. Mac as I like to call her, and I'll look down here as well just to make sure. And already I can see Alan's hot off the blocks and he says, "Hi Jenny," and I'm saying, "Hi Alan, thanks for joining." So tonight is a bit of a busy night for me because not only am I doing this, straight up on the dot at 7:30, I'm going to hop over into one of my private groups where I will be doing a nearly 90-minute Q&A. So it could be shorter than that if no one's got any questions. So if you are watching, do say hi, put your comments in the box below. And of course, this is about making things easy, making life easy. Some of you call it life hacks. So if you know of somebody else that wants to be seen, be heard and get visible, and they want to do it in a really easy way, because let's face it, all of this complex rubbish that goes out on there, life is complicated enough, as the old advert used to say. So things can be made really easy if we want them to be and if we allow them to be. So if you know of somebody else who this could fit with, just click the share button and don't be afraid to share it on your own timeline. You never know who of your Facebook friends might need to hear this message right now. So as I say, I'll be going hard until 7:30 UK time, and then I will hop off and I'll be going over into my closed group of lovely visibility vibers, my inner circle, and I will be hosting a Q&A call there. So thank you so much for hopping on. Forgive me if I cough. I've got my drink of choice here is mint tea. I must remember to take a gulp of that, although there's nothing worse than the sound of a gulp in the ear. So if you're one of the Visibility Vibes tribe, thank you so much for watching. If you're one of my Visibility Vibes replay watchers, again, thank you for watching. And if this is the first time you've ever seen any Facebook Live from me and you're thinking, what on earth, who on earth, that's me. I look, I hope, a little bit like I do in my pictures. So tonight's subject is planning spontaneous visibility, and this is a quirky one because I'm all about being visible, being seen. And recently, in fact, I've had client meetings today, I've had client meetings on Monday, and last week I've also seen a few of my clients and been in contact and connection with them. And a lot of them, when it comes to visibility, are asking me a similar question. So when people ask me a similar question, I really do pay attention and I do take note. And one of the things that they've been asking me, they've said, either they don't plan and they feel like they need to plan so they can be consistent, or they do plan but then it feels really starchy and really stiff, and I guess deep down they don't feel the momentum or mojo to go. Now this is especially true if you are responsible for getting your new clients in, i.e. sales, if you're responsible for letting people know about what you do, for example marketing, if you are the person responsible for getting yourself out there, also known as visibility. Now, the thing I love about visibility is like the glue. If you think about it, it's like the jam in the sandwich, the mortar between the bricks, the glue that holds your sales and marketing together. Because without any of those, you fall down. Without the sales, you don't have new income coming in. Without the marketing and letting people know what you do, people don't know that you're there. And without being visible, people don't truly get that you are for them. And that's the distinction that I like to make in between all of these. So as always, I approach this subject in a couple of different ways. I think Namisha's watching. It says that you are, but the number count looks a bit shonky. So I am going to just make sure that I've got what I need on my screen just in case, I did put a little post in the Vibes Tribe group to let them know I'm here, and so many of you are out tonight. So I do urge you that whenever you're watching this, whether it's like in half an hour after it's been broadcast, a day, a week, a month, or as I found early this morning, yesterday morning, if you're watching them 4 months back, 7 months back, or a year back, still put your comments, still interact, still engage with me, because I love to know what you're up to and where you're at. And more than anything, I love to be able to help add a little bit of sprinkle of a visibility boost to your day too. So I wanted to talk about how to be consistent with your visibility, but also to be spontaneous. And I feel like if you're going to be spontaneous with your visibility, it really needs to be something that's created, I would say. Yes, planned is great, but something that's created is like uber juicy, uber lovely. Not only to your audience that are listening to you or watching you or reading you or sharing you, but also to yourself. Because there's nothing worse than going out there, spreading your ripples far and wide, and then being bored internally, and your audience kind of feeling that vibe too. So I always say go for 3 things, and let me explain what they are: the head, the heart, and the hands. Now, what on earth does that mean? And as I do that, I notice that I'm showing you my plaster. Long story, but that's my plaster on there, not a dodgy nail. So if you're going and using your head, then you're normally using the logic. You're the sort of person that likes to plan, and probably you like to plan on a spreadsheet and have a gazillion different files. You know where every file is in whichever way it is. But you know, you can be on the other end of the spectrum, and if I just said spreadsheet and you just shuddered, I completely get it. I completely get it. I totally get it. But you can be anywhere in between. So to me, if you like planning on spreadsheets, pivot tables and things like that, then go for it. But if not, there are other ways you can do it that fit in with who you are and feel like joyful and great to you. And that's where the heart comes in. Now, the heart is the passion behind it. It's the driving force. It's the bit that even on a day where you've got too much to do, not enough hours in the day, you literally will spring out of bed. You'll leap out of bed and feel full of the joys of spring. I'm just going to check something while I speak to you, because I want to make sure that I am now not ignoring any of you or all of you. So the passion is the piece. It's like the grease that really keeps you moving, keeps you momentum no matter what. And then the hands are the part that actually do the doing. So you've thought of it, you've got the passion behind it, you've got the hands. And my belief is that you can use all 3 of these in one hit, but in different measures. You might start it from a more logical place, you might start it from a more passionate place, so your why's really strong in there, or you might start it from the doing and wait to see what happens. And in my opinion, neither is right or wrong, good or bad. So here are a couple of observations that I've noted and a couple of things that I'd love to share around spontaneous or creating spontaneous visibility. I know that as you're watching this, this might say planning, but if it doesn't say creating, it will be changed after this broadcast. So the first thing is, like, know what to plan to increase not only your visibility, but your credibility. So if this is you and you're thinking, you know, well, how can I plan it? Remember that I said that there's nothing wrong with having a plan, and it's great to have the passion to be able to be spontaneous as well. From the planning bit, know which bits to plan and which bits not to plan. So that's the first thing. And then once you're planning, know which things you're planning. In fact, I've got the word create behind me, only it's in mirror writing because I didn't flip my camera. But know which bit to is actually going to raise your credibility and your visibility. I could do a whole nother broadcast on this, but the long and short of this is that quite often I see people who are brilliant at what they do, and they go out there and they kind of share stuff in such a wide and dynamic way that people kind of get confused with what they do. So for example, I went through a summer of juicing. I absolutely loved juicing. I absolutely adored juicing. And I remember sharing juices. Hey Faye, hi, thanks for saying hi. I remember sharing some of the juices that I made, but when I did this, I knew that I didn't want to, stretch my message. Hey Lisa, hi, good to see you on here. I didn't want to stretch my message, so I had to really position for my own credibility where I shared what I was juicing and where I didn't. And the reason for that is I didn't want someone who's never met me before hop on a live, see that I'm speaking about juices and think that I'm a juicing coach, because that's not what it is. So make sure that what you plan definitely increases your credibility and your visibility. And the key to that is stay focused, stay really focused. It's so easy, especially when you've got an entrepreneurial mind, to kind of skip off and hop off and do different things. So just so I can see for those of you watching in the box, whether it's live, whether it's on the replay, just type in, does that make sense? So first of all, start to plan to increase your credibility and plan to increase your visibility, but you still can plan and leave a space for the spontaneity. And I'm going to come on to how you can do that in a moment. So now it seems that my my phone decided that it wanted, my iPod I should say, decided that it wanted to put Siri on, and I don't know what it thought I said, but it was quite quite interesting. I did get a picture of the screen. Faye says, I look different, my skin is all glowy. It's interesting because I've got a big spot of tonsillitis, if the truth be told. I've actually got makeup on. I don't normally wear makeup on my lives, and I'm hoping that the lighting is kind of making my eyes. But if my skin looks all glowy, maybe it means that I'm finally, after 45 years on the planet, starting to know how to apply my foundation. By the way, if you're watching, the reason I'm laughing at that is because Faye is an awesome makeup artist. Not only does she take care physically of the makeup, she takes care of what's going on the inside as well, so that you smile on the inside as well as the outside. So for a makeup artist to say my skin looks all glowy, either that, Faye, or let's be honest, I'm probably having a hot flush. I'm not, but it could just be that. So thank you. I'll take that compliment because I love it. Thank you for saying that. So first of all, know what to plan to increase your visibility, and that's where your planning needs to be focused. It's great that you go off and do other things as well, but your plan needs to be focused on how you're raising your visibility, raising your credibility, and demonstrating to people what you do. This is especially important for people like Alan, who I know is about to launch his money course, and this is like a money course that can either stop you getting into debt. So if you're in that scary place where you're like, you know what, money's coming in, money's going out, and I'm not sure the two are balancing, then that's what he'll be doing on his course. But if you're at the stage where you're like, I could really run away with myself and spend too much money, and I just need to be able to rein that in and manage my money, because let's face it, we're all in business here, and one of the things that we don't think about is how we're going to grow our business and how we're going to manage our money. And the truth is, if we don't learn to manage our money right now, imagine how much of a game, of a challenge it's going to be when you're earning £10,000 a month, £12,000 a month, £20,000 a month, £50,000 a month, and onwards and upwards. You know, I was reading a book by a woman, it's called Girl Boss, Sophia Amoruso, and she was talking about the first year they made their first $150,000, and then they were making it in a month, and then they could basically make it over a lifetime. If you don't get the nuts and bolts sorted out of your money right here, right now, you could take bad money habits into when you grow, or you could have such bad money habits that you don't grow your business. And this is why, for me, it's a really important subject. It's one that needs to be spoken about more in the entrepreneurial field, especially when people are going out and they're balancing their lives, their family, personal development, and can get themselves into all kinds of problems. I've seen it far too many times myself. So So somebody like Alan will need to make sure with the forthcoming launch that virtually, 4 out of 5 times that he's posting, he is making some sort of reference to his course. He's not saying buy my course, he's just showing people why he's so passionate about it, why it could be for them, and he's marketing himself really well and being visible, because those two go in tandem, ready for when he goes to sell it. So how do you plan, stay focused, increase your credibility and your visibility, and then be spontaneous? Well, here are some really great ways to stay spontaneous. So learn from your environment. And it's funny because just yesterday I was having this conversation, and it feels like about the 5th person I've spoken to in the last couple of weeks. So learn from your environment. Have your stuff plotted in and planned in anyway, and learn from your environment. Talk about things that actually happen. So, and this is a real life example of how you might do that. There's a really great framework that I'll share. And if any of you who are watching live are part of the Inner Circle, and the Inner Circle is a kind of an add-on. So for people that are part of my monthly subscription program, or have, are working with me, they also get the access to the Inner Circle. So they also get a Q&A mentoring call where they can ask me stuff about being more visible, and I can go deeper into how that specifically works for their business. So if you wonder why I'm talking about the Inner Circle, that's that. And if you want to know how to get involved, it's £29 a month. There's no tie into it. You go for as long as you want, you cancel whenever you want. So basically, when you're learning from your environment, today I had a meeting, and it was in London Bridge with one of my clients that I see regularly. It's a bit of a sounding board, so we sound stuff out. And as I went back to London Bridge Station, it was all, pretty cool, calm and collected. And as I walked through, all of a sudden, they were putting out a call for some officer, code 10, officer. I thought, gosh, that doesn't sound very good. And it sounded a bit frantic, to be honest with you, maybe my vivid imagination. And then after a couple of minutes, all these alarms started to go off. All the barriers opened, the lifts opened, and they started playing an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an emergency at the station. Please leave the station by the nearest exit. I'm not one to panic. I have to be honest with you. So I looked around and noticed that everyone was doing what everyone normally does, just ignoring it. Then I was looking around for staff, and I saw 4 members of staff standing by the barriers, talking and having a bit of a laugh. They were quite deep in conversation. Like, I'm not trying to drop anyone in it, but they were deep in conversation, having a bit of a giggle. So I went over and said, just want to check, is this real or is this a test? They went, oh, no, it's a test. And off we went on my way. So I actually posted it in the Vibes Tribe group earlier, because I feel like there's a metaphor for there. And here's how I would turn my environment, that story that only happened less than 4 hours ago. Here's how I would turn that into a story to share. I would talk about how people go into their business, and at any given time their business is running nice and smoothly, almost like train wheels on a track. But every now and then they hit tests, and it's not how, what happens as a result of the test that runs through their business. It could be how they handle it, how they deal with it when it's happening. How do they handle their customers when they're tested? How do they handle themselves when they're tested? If they needed to take something out of their business and evacuate it, would they be able to cope with that? I think you catch my drift. But that is using my environment as a metaphor. It snowed, a heavy snow flurry in London today for about 15-20 minutes, maybe half an hour. Like, how could you use that? So how could you use what goes on in your life to demonstrate what you do? And this is where it's great to have fun. You might be at a party and you might just want to say, do you know what? I'm at a party. There you go. And that's cool too. That's how you can be spontaneous. But really learn from your environment, your everyday life. Things that actually happen to you, things that happen around you. Share your world. People get a sense of who you are, and they get a sense of what you're doing. So, Alan says thank you. You're welcome, Alan. Absolutely welcome. Alan, we need to see and hear you sharing more about your juicy course too. So, I digress. So then the next piece, or the third piece. So the first piece is know what to plan. Using the head, know what to plan, know how to specifically increase your visibility and your credibility, and stay focused. Now the passion, learn from your environment. Things happen on a daily basis at any given time that you have no idea that's going to happen. Bring those into what you're sharing, and add the passion that you feel deep in here into what you're sharing out in the world too. It becomes really infectious. People feel it and they really pick it up. And then the third thing is, like, be present in the moment. And again, this is how you keep spontaneous. Be present, be in the moment, because when you're present and in the moment, rather than feeling confused, panicky, stressed out and all of those sorts of things, you actually feel grounded. You actually feel like the simplicity. You get to see the simplicity of life, and you also get a lot more clarity. Have you ever noticed that when you go to switch off, you want to do something else, all of a sudden the ideas come tumbling in? Anyone resonate with that? Anyone else get that as well? If you do, give me a thumbs up so that I know whether you're watching live or on the replay, or give me a yes. If that's you, then know that when you kind of declutter your mind, because again, especially if you're particularly entrepreneurial, which I reckon at least 80%, 85% of my audience are, even the ones that work in corporate settings, even the ones that are employed there, even the ones that are like sales directors and sales managers, they've got this like entrepreneurial spirit to them, which means that their minds can dart from one idea to another, race. They can be really creative, they can be seen as blue sky thinkers. And who's going to catch all those blue sky thoughts and pull them back in? Now, if you're lucky enough to work corporately, you might have somebody within your team that does all of that, pulls all the ideas out and takes the starts and finishes them. If you're at that stage in your business where you're starting to set up a team, and it could be a virtual team, whether it's someone on Fiverr or somebody that you're hiring in for a month, or subcontracting, or anything else like that. So quite often you'll find that because of your kind of entrepreneurial mind, you can get a ton of ideas. And if that's you, then grab the ideas and put them somewhere that you can clear your mind again. Keep connected to that clarity, keep connected to that vision, keep connected to that simplicity and focus. And when you do that, you start to, it's almost like you wake up and smell the coffee. So, hey, Ivona must have joined, because everyone's saying hi to Ivona. Hello. I'm about to wrap up now and hop over to the other place. So thank you for hopping on. So share, when you've got that simplicity, that clarity, what then starts to happen is that you start to really see the world around you. You start to notice things that you might not have noticed before. You really start to hear not only what other people are saying, like your clients, rather than saying they want this thing, you start to hear their actual words. And you also get clarity, and that little inner voice, that internal dialogue, when it's got lots of clarity and simplicity, it starts to tell you more positive things about what you're looking to achieve. So give yourself that gift. Faye says, I have too many ideas and not enough time to execute them. Here's a couple of things you can do for that, Faye. If you're the sort of person like Faye, like me, to be honest, that's how I know this stuff, that gets a gazillion ideas, have a way of either voice recording them on your phone, because you could be at work, you could be with your family, you could be trying to cook dinner, you could be trying to do all of those things at the same time. So either keep them as very short voice recordings, say enough that when you go back to them it makes sense. So today I thought I would start my own product range based on ducks, said Faye. Not really, but I'm just kind of making that up. And she thought to herself, yeah, I could start baby duck, teenage duck, mummy duck, daddy duck. So I can have 4 different levels of that, record it in, and then it's there. It's not in your head, it's not taking up space, it's not cluttering, and you can go back to it. Way number 2, obvious way, but always the easiest and the best. Keep a little notebook with you, like a small one that you can literally fit anywhere, in the back pocket of your jeans if you have to, with a little pencil or pen, where whenever you get an idea, you can scribble it down. Did you like that, Faye? Did little one like that? she's probably saying, Auntie Jenny's a bit mad. So have a way of keeping all of that information together. And then the other thing that I used to do in my home office, especially if I know that I'm going to be there, whether it's doing admin, you know what it's like, time of year, get your accounts in order for the accountant. All of a sudden, I personally think in my case it's procrastination, but all of a sudden you start getting these brilliant ideas. I had a whiteboard and I would literally write in a random colour pen, put a circle around it. Once the whiteboard got full, I would take a photo, and I would, once I've got that photo, I'd be able to clean it off, start all over again, and upload it into something on the cloud like Dropbox or Evernote or one of those sorts of things. So it meant that I wasn't losing my ideas and I could let go of them out of my head. Ethan is cracking up and probably still thinking that I'm a bit mad. So if you've got lots of ideas, you can do that. Now, just before I go over to the other group, I wanted to share with you that one of the easiest ways to share your life, for my liking, is via video. Whenever I see something out in the world, I can either take a photo or do a quick video. The video might be me giving you an insight or kind of talking about what's going on, describing the scenario or the circumstances, or it might be a video of something. Obviously, if you're in a public place, people normally like their permission to use their photos. So when I'm in public places, I tend to do waist down so people aren't identifiable. But a lot of people have issues and have stuff around video out on the go. So if you would like to know really easy ways, I actually made a document, 12 video secrets, and this is the piece before even getting anywhere near a video camera, a phone or anything else like that. 12 secrets. It takes 5 minutes to read, and you can go and implement each and every one of them to get you out there, to get you visible, to get you seen on the go. It's free. So what I'll do is I'll pop the link in the description of this video and give it a download. Now, if you have, like some people, downloaded it before, you thought, oh well, I think I've done this before, I'll leave it. Don't. Go back to it, and what I'd love you to do is come back and tell me which of those 12 secrets you have implemented and what happened as a result. By the way, if you're a webinar type of person, there's an awesome secret on how to get really great eye contact with your audience. So if you want to do script-free videos, so you're out in the supermarket and the mood takes you and you want to know what to say, there's a couple of naughty ones in there, but really great. So let me know how you do. I'll put a link in the video, but I must get off. The Visibility Vibe is away, and I need to make sure that I can put the freebie in the link below. Let me know how you get on, Nosy by Nature me, and let me know, out of these 3 main tips that I've given tonight, which one you're going to go for first. Faith says, thank you, it was really useful and really helpful. I'm glad it was. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to share this with other people that you can on your timeline, or send it as a private message if you don't want to name and shame them. I'm sure they're going to love it. And I'll see you next 7 a.m. on this page here for a little bit of Monday motivation, where I'm going to talk a bit more about simplicity and keeping it simple. Lots of love to you. Bye for now.